Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers, and today's episode we've got a service just come in. Bloke messaged me yesterday, he said he's got a lawnmower that doesn't start. He went to another lawnmower repair shop last year and they charged him, he said, an extortionate amount of money for very little work indeed. Wasn't very happy with them, so he thought we'd try something new, and he's picked the Micks Mowers shack, so that's cool. Nice little old boy. It's got a Briggs & Strap 3.5 Classic on it. I've done nothing to it at all, haven't even pulled it over or anything. He reckons it could be no spark is what he's saying, but we'll have a quick little look at that in a minute. Also, if you remember, I have the HS173 Honda currently on the floor with this pull cord that works, but it won't throw out the claw on demand, although it is doing it quite well at the moment. So I need to look at that. However, Chris Hale, one of my fellow subscribers, has sent me this little chappy, which is a pull cord, which is great. Unfortunately, they are slightly different. The holes are on the outside on this one here and over here, and they don't line up. So the holes are in the wrong area. However, I'm going to have a little look at that, get my calipers out, and I wonder if I can't put the guts of that inside the body of that. That's what I'm going to be looking at doing. They're roughly the same size, it's just the holes are a different configuration, but it all looks relatively standard. So I'm hoping I can get around and do that. So keep an eye out for that video, that'll be coming out soon. Incidentally, if this is your first time in watching the Micks Mowers show, don't forget to hit the old subscribe button, whack the old bell, set your notifications to all, and that'll give you a notification to tell you, one, I've either released a video, or two, I'm on my weekly Saturday night live stream between 6 and 10, where you can come up on the panel, ask questions and join in the fun and all the games that we have on that show. So I look forward to seeing you on there. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this nice little lawnmower that's just come in for a service. Right, here it is. It's a 550 158 flathead Briggs Crowcast mower. It's got drive, throttle control, all that sort of good stuff. And he says it's in for a service, but actually it's a repair because it's not actually firing apparently. So let's give it a couple of pumps. That's not priming. That bulb feels very stiff on the bottom. It's not priming. And the fuel looks suspiciously like two-stroke to me. Let's put a bit more neat fuel in it. Oh, that tank's nearly full. So it had more in it than what I thought we did. But it's still got a very orangey tint to it. Nothing. Right, let's get it up on a bench, have a look. But to begin with, that carburetor's not even priming, so we'll have the carburetor off, have a look at that. Maybe the gasket diaphragm's at it, or the primer bulb, one or the other, but it's not priming at the moment, so hopefully it's not a new carburetor required, but we shall see. Right, let's have a quick look. This fuel looks suspect to me. Well, I don't know now, maybe it's not. It had a very reddish look to it. So I'm going to take the air filter off first. I know it is a 3.5 Classic, and there's lots of videos on these, but it's what's coming. So as I've always said, I can only record and do videos on what comes in. Let's have a little look. It feels good. I'm a bit suspect over this primer bulb. It doesn't feel like it's doing a lot. 113mm spanner. I'm going to get myself a little tool trolley. There's one of them sort of 3-tier jobbies, just so I can have it next to me, so I'll put all my bits and pieces on it. So we're going to take this fuel tank off. It's got a new gasket on here. I don't think it's, you know, it's done a lot of work. It's been well looked after. He's had it from new 2012. So it's been looked after. But I'm just suspicious whether or not that's actually primer bulb's gone, or if it's actually the gasket and diaphragm. But I just want to take that fuel out. That fuel to me just doesn't look right. And we'll be able to have a better look once I get it out. It's got one of these silly throttle controls, which I don't think these need, but they're a bit gimmicky on these mowers. That can come off, and then slide the old tank out nice and gently, and a bit of a tip up thing got to go on here. It's slightly different to the standard Briggs setups that you see. That's it. Right, that's the tank off. It's got a spacer, and the clip and ring has stayed on the intake. Let's have this fuel out, see what that looks like. Okay, so up on the bench, we're going to have a quick little look to see what this this fuel looks like inside this tank. I was a bit suspicious. Yeah, it's 2-stroke. That's 2-stroke all day long. What do you think? 2-stroke, people? It's got a very, very red colour to it, I would say. Bit of grass in there. The tank is really clean, but that to me, that looks like 2-stroke. So I'm going to give the old bloke a quick text just to see what fuel he puts in. But to me, that's saying 2-stroke. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put a rag, because there's a few bits of bigger stuff in here which I want to get out. I just see a massive lump of something down there. What's that? Where did that go? Oh no, it's actually on the tank itself. So a bit of rag goes in. Quite happy with that. Right, that's that fuel tank now emptied. I think I need to have a look at this primer bulb. It seems to be a bit perishy. Or do I go for the gasket first? Let's have a look at the gasket. Let's do the gasket. Everyone's favourite. Everyone's favourite. Let's look at the quick gasket, so that's looking like. I hope it's not a carburetor, it's not sucking, but that looks like 2-stroke to me, so that should say there's oil in the old diaphragm setting in the well. That'll soon tell me. So I'm just going to remove these screws. There's 5 to do, and they're Phillips. Loosen them off. And I've got some spare gaskets for it anyway. Don't have to change it, but I just want to see the condition of it to see what's actually happening. This has got one of the newer style carburetors on it, for what they are. It's got a spring in place. Yeah, gasket's quite saggy, so I'm going to put a new gasket on there. And there's some dirt with inside the well, as I call it. So I'm going to get a little dental pick and just loosen that up, and a bit of carb spray. Let's get a rag. So yeah, the service work's coming. I've got about another 3 or 4 lawnmowers coming in this week, which is nice. In fact, tomorrow. So that's good. Right, that's that now clean. That is definitely 2-stroke oil here. Oil residue. That's definitely oil. So I'm going to give him a bell to say, you're putting the wrong fuel in, old kiddie. So we're putting a new gasket and diaphragm on there. A bit of WD-40, just get rid of that carburetor spray, because carburetor spraying gaskets is not a good thing. That goes on there. Let's just clean that up. So it's in good condition. It's clean. It is clean compared to what we do get in. It is clean. Right, happy with that. Let's grab a new gasket diaphragm set. Now I think it could possibly be my last set. It is. I'm going to order some more up, which is no problem. I'll get them ordered today, and then we'll be on a bit of a winner. So that way, yeah. Stick the old diaphragm on, followed by the old gasket. Let's get some fresh green fuel. I've just been down the shop yesterday and picked some up, so we'll put some fresh in. That should be enough. Now, you're supposed to put these back on the engines to make them prime, but you can do it off the engine. And what you can do is sometimes, if it allows you, put the cap back on and put your hand over the back of the intake. And that's not having it. At all. Right, okay. So we'll look at the primer next. I think there might be an issue with this primer. You want a flat-headed driver for this, and we're gonna simply push the little tiny tabs in, and they click out on that side. There's one on this side as well. Just put your screwdriver in and just have it forward, just like so. You can grab it in and retract it. There you go. Ball bearings come out. Now, I don't know as if I'm going to get that back in there. We'll have a little tiny look. There's a little tiny spring there somewhere. Where did that go? It was there, I see it. No, it hasn't gone very far. There's a tiny little spring. I see it. I've got the ball bearing. I'm sure there's a little tiny spring in there. I see it, and now I don't see it. Let me get down to eye level. There it is. I got it. Alright, let me get a pair of snippers, and there's a little tiny ball bearing. I can't even see that spring. There it is. There's a little tiny spring just there. Okay, so that little tiny spring needs to sit inside. Let me put it all together so I don't lose it. Here it is, I can see it. The little tiny spring and ball bearing sits just in here. The spring will go in first, and then the there's a little tiny collar there which holds it all in. Spring in first, then a ball bearing, and then a little tiny clip that all holds that in. That forms part of a suction. So hopefully that'll go back in. So I'm going to tip this up, and I want something really, really thin now. A dental pick might do it. Let's grab the old spring. This is the first time I've done one of these. And let's slide that spring in. It's a bit fiddly. That's it. So the spring's now in place. I don't know if you're seeing that. See it right in the front of the carb. Now I want to get this little tiny ball bearing. Stick that in. So now the ball bearing's in place. You see it? We try and tip it up without falling out. There it is in the back there. And then we've got this little tiny bung, and that's going to sit on top of the ball bearing. Oh, this is a microsurgery. It's a bit fiddly. I'm going to have to come back to you, but I'm trying my hardest to get it in on first time. That's making a noise I don't like. Just for argument's sake. It's making a noise. It doesn't sound like it's sucking. Or has that spring come back out? No, the spring stayed in place. Right, new primer bulb. Let's take the old one off. It's just making a noise I'm not happy with. Stick that in there. Get your socket. That socket is a touch too big. I might go down to an 18mm. That's better. That's one side. I think the other side's already in. Yeah. Right, now let's have a look. No. No, the carburetor's had it. So what I'm going to do, I've got some spare carburetors here, and I'm going to put another carburetor on. Right, I've got another carburetor here. It's already got a primer bulb on it. So let's try and fit this one. Let's see what joys we get. Now what you can do is have some, when you know season cuts in, if you get a couple of these tanks that you know to be good, what you can do is just swap them and change them. You know, it's 2 or 3 bolts, but I haven't tested these tanks from last season, and they've been sat there all winter, so not really something I want to get into by giving the man a dodgy carburetor, or the gasket and diaphragm on this tank. What I've just replaced it with. That was done. So we're going to put this one down. That's that. A rag. Let's put some fuel inside this tank. Okay, it's fueled up. Fresh fuel. Right, now that carburetor is now fitted, let's see if that'll prime now. Yeah. Lovely priming carburetor. So that's good. A bit of dirt in there. As I say, I might have to give this one a clean as well, but the customer won't be charged for a carburetor clean because it is my carburetor. So let me now try and put that onto there. That's a much better fit. And now put that little tiny spring onto there, and you can see that that spring has now been activated. When you put it all on, I want my little tiny spacer for the 1/2" bolt. Man, it's too big. Righty, where are you? Get your little fingers in there, your little sausages, as he calls them. Right. That goes in there. Happy with all of that. Oh, my 10mm bolt goes on the front. Right, let's get this nicked up. I'll meet you back outside, and we'll go again for another fire up. I'm going to leave that throttle control off for now, because you can set it here, what you want to do with it. That's on, but now that governor arm, as you can see, it's been regulated. But we'll see with this in a minute about throttle control. So I don't like them on these Briggses. I've quite often just removed them. I don't like them. Air filter. Eventually we might get around to servicing this little girl. We shall see. Right, back outside, see who ticks. Right, let's see what we get this time. Hopefully we might have sussed it. Good, running. Not running very well, but I think it just needs a spark plug oil change and maybe even a carb clean, but we'll see. Let's get back up on the bench, finish the service off, and at least now it's all running. But I need to message the bloke. I'm sure it's had 2-stroke fuel put through it, so I'm gonna just give it a run for about 5 minutes, something like that, just to try and get rid of some of this stuff out of it. I'm sure it's 2-stroke, so I'll meet you back in the shed in 2 ticks. Right, happy that we've now got a working lawnmower. I might put that that throttle back on just to see what it's actually doing, just to clear my unconscious. It might work alright, but they are very finicky. You can adjust the throttle on here by hand, but we'll see. I don't want to put the bloke at danger if he's going to be around by the front of the lawnmower with the engine running. That's my concern. No oil in this machine, or very little. Yeah, no oil. So I dare say there'd be some inside the engine itself. Let's just put that in, see what we get out of it. Oh, put my bung in, that's it. There it goes. Got a bit in there. Let me get it drained out and I'll come back to you. Right, that's the lawnmower now empty of all its oil. Oil's now all out. Let's have a quick look at the old blade underneath. Yeah, it needs a sharpen. Needs a proper sharpen. The driver's fine. let me grab a 14mm bolt and a socket, sorry, and we'll have the blade off. And then that way we'll be able to give it a sharpen. And all I'm going to do is just literally take the blade off the bottom, to be fair, it's not too bad this edge, but this edge is quite shocking. So needs a new edge put on there. Let me get sharpened up, balanced up, and when I've done that, I'll come back. Okay, that's the blade now fully sharpened, doled off on the back as well, and I had to take a little bit off of just off this back edge here. Sorry, this edge, just here. It was just slightly out of weight on the back edge. So absolutely bang on where it needs to be. So happy with that. Good, good. I can now go back on. So that's that. Bit of a clean up, and I'll come back when it's done. Right, that's that bit done. Held blade and clean up underneath. What's that? That pull cord looked a little bit frayed to me. Yeah, just yeah, that's going to go. So it needs a new pull cord, which we can do next. So I need to grab. It should be a 1/4. Power tools. I'm still sat here with a do it by hand. Off of there. And then there's going to be a little tiny catch on the front of these, like that. Let's put the oil filler back on, and we've got a couple of 3/8 bolts to undo. One here, one over here, and one over here. Them off. Pull cord should come straight off. All I'm going to do is just pull this pull cord out, measure it, and cut a new piece. Right, got a new piece of pull cord. It's about 6.5 feet, 7 feet. Just going to burn both ends. Into a point. Grab the old pull cord, uncoil it, and then just keep hold of it best you can. Grab my forceps, take that out, snip that off, pull it out. Get my new pull cord, thread it through the hole, forceps, swab, pull that through, one-handed knot. You get used to tying knots with one hand when you do pull cords. Pull that back through. Let it go. I'll hold there. Grab the pull cord. And snip that off this end. That can be kept for spares, not for pull cords, but just for, you never need a bit of rope to tie something down. So always keep the old bits of pull cord. Forceps are generally the best tool for this. You get right in there, and then you can just pull the old one out, like so. Grab the pull cord up into the hole. And then I prefer these ones because you can just poke that through. Take a bit of slack up and poke it through. The other side. Once you've got it through that side, turn it round You can get hold of this side. Easier said than done, but once it bends over like that, you can get hold of it, put it through. There it goes. And again, another knot on there, right at the end. Put it tight. Put it tight. Exactly how it should be. So brand new pull cord going on there. Core looks good. Magnets look good. Nothing to do with there. We can then get our 3 bolts in. One's different to the other. One's got like a flange on it, which goes on the exhaust side. Right, brand new spark plug. B2LM NGK. That goes in. That's been pre-gapped to specification. Oil to do next. Spark plug done, air filter got to be done that as well. So let's grab a screwdriver up. I think this air filter looks really good. It is, and considering that considering they actually charge the man an extortionate amount of money, that's a copy filter. It's not a genuine Briggs. I do use copies, but I don't charge for copies. As in, I don't charge the price that you would expect from a lawnmower shop. And as I say, for what they're actually charging, you'd expect them to use genuine parts, but they ain't. So brand new filter goes in, which is good. A little bit of oil just to run onto the back of the filter. Just helps to catch any grass. It goes on. There's a gasket here. That goes on. And to be fair, the old filter is not actually too bad at all. It's pretty good. It's done its job. It's pretty good. So it has been serviced, but I can quite clearly see. It goes in. Right, so it's had new plug, new air filter, blade sharp and balance, new pull cord, donor carburetor, new gasket and diaphragm. It's had to have a tank flush because that fuel, I'm convinced that fuel is 2-stroke. Convinced of that. It smells like 2-stroke as well. I'm not quite sure what happened to that. So now we can put the cover back on. Which is there. Goes in, and I want me quarter drive and my quarter socket. Find the old hole. There it is. That's that. That's down. I think that's it. All other just my safety checks. I'm going to oil up the wheels, check the cables. I'm going to put this back on, only because it was on there initially. I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I just want to see what it actually runs like with it on. So I'm not a fan of them, but my only other concern is that some people don't know how to use lawnmowers. I'm not saying this gentleman does. That's not what I'm saying. Or doesn't, you know. What I'm saying is I don't want him around the front of the engine if the engine is running. That's my concern. It's just a safety thing. Some people get a bit too close. top it up with oil, give it a clean, all the wheels up and what have you, and we're nearly there. So yeah, just a general clean up for me. Do the oil, top it up, and then I'll take it outside, we'll give it a run and see what it's running like. Right, all done. Let's have a look. Done and dusted. Okay, that's that Quocast 550 Briggs & Stratton, all done, up, running and serviced exactly how it should be done. It's had a new spark plug, new air filter, carburetor, donor, gasket diaphragm, all changed, pull cord, blaze sharp and balance, safety checks, cable checks, wheels all greased up, tyres underneath, all the rest of it. So it's done. I'm convinced that is two-stroke fuel. It smells like two-stroke fuel. It's just got that essence about it. I'm convinced. If you think it's two-stroke, well, give me a comment in the comment section below. If this is your first time in watching Micks Mowers, don't forget to hit the old subscribe button, whack the old bell, set your notifications to all. That will tell you I've done another video, or I'm in fact on my weekly live stream on a Saturday night, where you can come up, tell me what I'm doing right, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and get involved in the fun banter that we have on a Saturday night live stream. It's really cool. So that's that done. If you'd like to help towards the growth of my channel with regards to tools and stuff, or gaskets, diaphragms, primer bulbs, in the comment section, in the top comment, you'll find my Amazon wish list, where it's got a list of spare parts, tools that I'm looking to buy myself. If you want to help me along my way by purchasing a little gift for me, feel free to do so, no pressure. And hopefully I'll catch you all again on the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. I'm super busy. I've got loads of stuff coming in, loads of stuff going out, so you're going to get videos coming out every single week, I promise you. And hopefully you'll enjoy those as well. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. But until next time, people, don't forget, more importantly, take her easy.